Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Enduro. Enduro Dorado Grande. I have no idea. What track are we on here?
I mean, it sounded good. This is Imola.
Immolation Station. With me, as always, is the king of the possum grommet, the future of squirrel paste, Travis Wallace.
That is me. Interesting intro.
I thought so. I'm trying to come up. I'll have something different for next time, but I'm enjoying the possumgrommet.com motif.
Nah, I'm loving it. It's good. All
Not
right,
sure what you would make a possum grommet out of, but okay.
I guess possum. Well,
Well, yeah, but what part? Wow, Josiah, looking for all of the wall hacks.
yes, taking the shortcut. And
Illegal.
more shortcut. So, round 7 of the Enduro Cup is Imola. We're back in the Audi TT's front-wheel drive, heavy car. Very different from what everybody's used to normally racing. I love it. Wrapping up qualifying.
I vote that we make them go very, very fast.
Well, I mean, I guess next season we could push for the ones with the push-to-pass feature, which would be interesting with the Enduro, because then you'd have to stretch out the 15 that the Academy guys had in the 20-minute races into a 90-minute race. It'd be very strategic.
That would be entertaining. I remember the last time I saw somebody with a push-to-pass, like about half the field blew all of theirs in the first lap.
Yeah, I think some of that had to do with the overlay at the time. I don't know if they got that fixed, since we don't use those cars anymore. But
throws them in the garbage.
Yeah, why not? So there's your rundown. I think everybody qualified. I think it was a pretty small grid for this one. 15 drivers. We may have had more,
yep.
But I can't recall.
I guess we'll find out.
I know it
Anybody
wasn't
behind
many.
Picha did not qualify.
I guess we'll see when everybody hits the grid. But of course, Mike Stoffmill on pole, but very close behind him. Pavel Mukinen did a great job getting the other side of the front row.
The Pavel Mucosa.
So now we're going to look at the pretty green wall with the two men behind it. They're conversating about things.
We have a question in the Rocket League chat here on Discord. Javi PT wants to know if we play FIFA or PES. I don't know what those are, so no.
I know FIFA is soccer, and football.
Football?
I do not, and yeah, the other one, I don't know what that is.
Is PES technically a POS?
I'm American. I don't.
Fair enough.
I don't know anything else.
Your boy Stoffmill, who is also leading the pack in this race, has responded and said those games do not involve cars or rockets.
Ah, okay, good answer. So here we go. Lights are on. Looks like we're going to take a look at Carol Vega here, starting first car in the second row P3.
Very nice.
Nice start. Everybody off. Already fanning out 3 wide. I love it.
I want to go 6 wide.
Oh, a little bit of contact there between maybe Vega and Garanian. But Mike Stoffmill edging out for turn 1, coming off the pole and holding the lead through the first corner. It's like most everybody getting single file, couple still battling. But yeah, looks pretty single file from there.
Remember, kids, the drinking rules. Anytime the broadcaster refers to themselves in the third person, you must drink.
Well, it's probably going to happen a lot. You know me.
Correct.
So a nice clean start. I haven't seen anybody off. Haven't seen any big incidents. So Stoffmill holding the lead. Mukinen holding on to second as well. Garunian moves up into third. Wallace drinking up into fourth. Carol Vega is falling back to fifth. Rounds out your top 5. We'll stop there for now. I don't know how long
Martin
it's
Edmonds
gonna
with a horrendous start. Falls all the way down to 16th place.
Oh my god. Okay, so we had one car that did not qualify.
Yeah, it looks like Javi PT is slow off the mark, or just a dirty racer, one or the other.
One or the other. Heading up to the bus stop here. Tricky corner, you gotta take a lot of curb, which these cars really don't care for.
Hey, we got the Pro Handy. Yeah, go Pro Handy Racing.
Yes.
I do love that decal where they've got it right in line with the driver's head. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's perfectly placed. Love it. It's like Wallace moving up on the grid off the start. And putting pressure on Grunion for third. Some nice early pressure going on. Looks like there's a couple of close battles in the field. A couple of people
I gotta say,
each other still.
I gotta say, Mr. Garunion's car, I like that livery, the black and blue.
Yeah, it is a good looking car. And Buchanan not letting Stoffmill get away here. Holding on
He's
nicely.
sticking to him. Sticking to him like mucus. I didn't have a clever way of saying that. I tried.
I mean, I guess that does stick to things.
It does. And the other thing that sticks to things are possum grommets. Make sure to get yours from possumgrommets.com.
Watching the leaders here coming through the turn 7 hairpin. And doesn't look like there's much movement at the top half of the field. Everybody's got a nice little gap in between them. Looks like they know it's a 90-minute race. Just gonna ride it out for a little while and try to get into a rhythm.
That would be the way I would do it. I would just make sure that there was no choice for anybody to do anything but push me around. I would just settle my rear fender on somebody's nose and just let them do whatever.
Absolutely.
Save on gas. Put it into neutral.
And see, Grunion had caught up to Buchanan a little bit. It had to be a mistake from Buchanan. Stoffmill pulling out a 1.5 second lead, and Grunion closing that gap. I would imagine there was a small mistake there, nothing major. But still pretty clean. Everybody doing their part here.
Boring.
Yeah, it tends to be the start of the 90-minute races.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to take that risk early. They'd rather get as far in as they can before they start upping the risk factor, I believe.
I believe it's known as the boring approach. I mean, cautious approach.
Yeah, something like that.
Mr. Mike Stoffmill trying to open up a more than 2-second lead, which I assume will be a successful adventure for him.
I would imagine so. I don't know if he's going to take it easy or not. He's stretched it out to almost 2 seconds here, just in a few laps.
Although the last race I saw him in, he went ass over tea kettle.
Yeah. Which one was that?
I don't remember. It was the one from earlier in the week.
Oh yeah, the Bathurst race.
Oh yeah.
The 3D speed on Wednesdays.
Correct. Every Wednesday on the nose.
Yeah, he did end up pointing backwards and sat there for a while. That was a big field. He had a long time to sit and wait and let everybody come by. So there's really no chance of rejoining there. He's got walls on both sides. Unlike here, where you've got plenty of runoff at just about every corner.
Yeah, I believe, I might be wrong about this, but he got all the way back up into the top 5 at the end of that race, if my memory serves.
Wow, that's a pride. I'll be honest, I did not make it to the end of that one. I was watching
Well,
it
that's
on my lunch break.
because you, sir, are all high on PCP.
Yes. I mean, what?
Correct.
And while we were chattering, see Wallace drink again, performing the overtake there on Grunion, heading down the final set of corners. And
I made some
defensive.
I made some caramelized Grunions the other day. Put them on a sandwich.
And how was that?
Delightful.
But one thing that did come out of the battle for third there, it has allowed those guys in the backside of the top 10 there to catch up. And now Carol Vega and Martin Emmons and even Fran Majuka in this battle for third here. So from 3rd to 7th, all pretty close together here on track.
I demand that we start knocking some of these guys out of here. Let's just let's get the Ram cars out. Let's start eliminating some folks. Although that's not this game mode.
These things are pretty heavy. You can do a lot of pushing and shoving each other in these things, and they don't really move. quite nice.
Is this front-engined or rear-engined or both?
It would be fantastic if it was both.
That would
They
be
feel like
entertaining.
they weigh that much, but nah, it is a front engine, front wheel drive. Taking a look at Carol Vega here, working on the opposite side of Run-In, heading down into Ravazza. That is your final corners down here. The two corners have one name. Yes, it's confusing.
Well,
Nice.
I mean, I'm assuming they were made at the same time, so they could technically be twins.
I mean, I guess they could. They're very similar. Carol Vega performing a very nice crossover that almost was enough to give Martin Edmonds a run up into the top 5 there. Couldn't quite get it done at the beginning of the straight, taking advantage of the draft. See what he can do down here going into the first set of chicanes. Doesn't look like he's quite going to get there. Running doing a nice job of defending, as we see that Mukinen, who we didn't see it on camera there, but that's what all the dust is on the side, completely missed his braking mark and shot straight off into the gravel. And I guess they considered that a major cut of the track, so he gets a nice drive-through penalty.
He might have been distracted on his phone looking up possumgrommets.com and placing an order.
Yeah, he could have been. It would be nice. I appreciate the support.
We should actually get that website.
That'd be great.
At some point, somebody finds these videos and is like, what? Let me look that up.
So it looks like that's him right there in front of Vega, so he did not lose a ton of time. But he is in third. He'll be having to pit within the next 3 laps to serve that drive-through. So we'll keep an eye on it and see where he ends up coming out at and what he can do with it. It's a long race. If you want to make a mistake like that, you want to do it early.
Sounds like a reasonable ploy to me.
Yeah.
Either that or just be Mike Stoffmill and have like a 50-second lead.
I mean, Mike Stoffmill could perform a drive-through like per quarter, and he would probably still win.
I hear that he's up to half a herd of ponies in ballast.
It apparently needs to be more. we need to throw the whole herd at him. Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Looking at an incident here.
Martin Edmonds, dirty racer.
Yeah,
Clearly cuts that poor man off.
It was 3 drivers in your top 10. That was actually part of the battle for 4th place there. So we see Edmonds, Garunian, and Fran Machuca right here on camera now. I think what happened there was Machuca made a move heading downhill towards Ravazza and got into the corner of Martin and sent him off track, and he collected Garunian, and all 3 ended up off on the gravel.
Into the top 5, we now have Evgeny Lazarenko. He was saying nice things to me he was saying nice things to me on Discord. So, I mean, I feel I must highlight his name here. And Ariel Zatoni, the Uruguayan assassin.
Well, he is setting the sights on the freshly returned Lazarenko, who thought, tricked us into believing that he was leaving us. Stayed away, I think it was only like a month, maybe 2 months, and then made a dramatic return and running inside the top 5.
Yeah, fresh off his stint in prison, Evgeny Lazarenko.
Oh, is that what it was?
I have no actual proof of that, but it's a good story.
Oh, he had to sell everything to make bail. So these guys putting on a nice show. And wow, Edmonds and Garunian already back up, and Machuca, all 3 of them. Back in the top 10. Not sure they fell all the way out of the top 10. Small field. But still, they have a lot of ground to make up. And this battle between James Butler and Josiah Jerome, we got a shot of it earlier. It's been going on pretty much the whole first 12 minutes so far.
You are correct, sir.
Yeah, they're used to doing battle with each other, both academy drivers. And doing pretty well in this one. 6th and 7th right now. Not bad at all.
Oh, let's see. We have another new racer I'm not familiar with, Mr. D. King. And until further proof, I'm going to call you Don King.
He probably wouldn't argue with that. Wow. Chuka all out of sorts here. And Garunian as well. Edmonds has got to be loving it in his mirror. It's giving him a nice cushion. Not sure if that's maybe damage from the incident earlier on their cars. I'm not seeing anything. Doesn't mean it's not there. Or possibly the nerves got to him after that, as Grunny in there making another mistake and lose the spot to Machuca.
Fancy Fran Machuca juked him out.
Fancy Fran. I love it. Looking again here at the battle for 4th position, and I think it's sticking on this one a good bit just because the top 3 have spread out a decent amount. Just about 4 seconds in between each of them, and then 6 seconds back to Lazarenko in 4th. Taking a look again at the Butler-Jerome battle. I have a feeling we'll be watching this one a lot. They're pretty similar on pace.
Yeah, well, it's the closest one in the batch other than Garunian and Machuca.
Yeah, it is. It's like, which I mean, small field. It's a pretty big track. I'm not surprised it's getting so spread out. This would have been a really good one to have with about 30 cars on track. This would have been a good round for it. It's a nice track that it's wide enough to have some really good battles and technical enough that the guys that really put in the time are gonna be successful.
Martin Edmonds racing for miscellaneous Odenkirk 2012.com. I have no idea what that word is.
Yeah, it was a lot of letters.
Darren King.
Yeah, there we go, Darren King. I think this is his first ESR race.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing him around before, so I'm going to go with newbie, and he will be referred to as the daring one.
Daring. It's like he's holding on to the back of John Barker right now in the battle for 11th, pretty nicely. Taking a look again at this Lazarenko-Zatoni battle. Not sure. I haven't seen Zatoni make any moves. Wonder if he's playing the long game, trying to save tires, save fuel, by just letting Lazarenko pull him around the track a little bit.
That does seem like a good strategy, although your boy Lazarenko is closing in on Vega at times, although that might be corners and straightaways.
Yeah, the elevation from the front half of the circuit to the back half here, really, it swings at about a second, maybe a little over a second on the delta. I was noticing it in the race. I couldn't tell exactly how far people were away from me.
I have no idea what that means, but I believe you.
Yes, I don't lie. But we saw Edmonds there that had separated that battle of Butler and Jerome. And now that Edmonds has worked his way around Butler, Jerome is right back on him. See what happens when Machuca and Karunian come through. So we know that those two drivers are quicker. They were at the front before the pile up there in the final corner. Getting the toe down the front stretch. He will make the move to turn 1. Josiah staying wild. Looks like he might let him go. Not gonna risk any contact this early.
Josiah Jerome probably got some extra beads on his abacus this morning. Trying to get some action happening, and also we need to have some sort of GoFundMe for his computer, seriously.
Yeah,
that boy has not good equipment.
Yeah, if he had some good frame rate, man, he would mostly it would help his consistency. I think that's where he struggles. It really shows in the longer races that we run. But yeah, it would help a lot. He would be pretty quick.
Well, I hear that he's actually taken the screen off of his laptop and taped it directly to his face, so he can actually see what's going on.
I mean, it would be, granted it's moving at the speed of light, but it would be marginally quicker getting to his eyes if it was taped to his face.
Hook it to my veins!
See, so we've seen Grunian now also come around Jerome. And Fran Machuca has worked his way around Butler as well. There goes Grunian. Clearing Butler also, and look at that. Jerome right back on the back bumper of Butler. Looks like he can get there, but he can't quite get it done to get around.
Well, that's when you need the spiky tires like in Rocket League, and you just dig in there and get them out of the way.
Yes. I am all for that.
Indeed. See, if this was more like Rocket League, it would actually end up being Mario Kart. Dude, you can't tell me that wouldn't sell if they had a simulated, like, take a Mario Kart theme and all the extra gimmickry and like weird power-ups and stuff, but make it a sim race like this. I can't think that people wouldn't be at least interested a little bit.
That would be pretty freaking cool.
Evgeny Lazarenko goes too fast, must serve penalty.
Yeah, from the timing there, I think that might have been that turn 2 chicane. If you cut, you can cut the left one a little bit, but the right one, if you get over and cut your tires on the other side of the little sausage curves, it'll definitely give you a drive-through. We'll probably end up seeing that mistake a couple more times in this race.
I do enjoy handing out penalties, so no skin off my nose.
Even with the drive-through, Lazarenko not going to give up that 4th spot.
He does have a pretty comfortable lead there. Or no, I was reading that backwards. My bad.
So, Edmonds, Machuca, and Garunian have worked their way roughly back up to where they were at the start of the race. Caught the back of Zatoni here, who's been battling basically for the last 20 minutes with Lazarenko, who he's got 3 laps to serve it, but I would imagine he would go ahead and get it out of the way early. He's got the most time afterwards to try to make that time up.
Martin Edmonds, noted racer of miscellaneous Coney 2012 racing.
So it's just going to have a different name until they sort out their lettering.
I'm sure it's German, but I can't pronounce it, especially with the font that small. So, Evgeny Lazarenko racing for Scud Missile Colonial something or other.
So with the drive-through, it looks like he's back there with Mukinen, who had the drive-through earlier. Both of those drivers sitting 13th and 14th. So the drive-through penalty here, pretty harsh. I mean, they went from the front to the back of the whole grid.
And now Ariel Zatoni, greatest racer in the world. By virtue of the fact he does not cheat.
Well, he's going to have to really prove it here, because Edmonds putting him under some good pressure.
Well, I don't know if Edmund's been handing out those $50 bills for free passes, so he might not get through here.
It doesn't look like he paid him off, as Tony going defensive here, but yields the position anyways.
Swoops in for the win.
See if that's going to give Machuca here a run. Doesn't look like it will, coming up the hill. And now he's going to sit in line right here through the chicane. Little wide on exit. These cars do not like the little, I don't know what the hell they're called, the bumps coming out of that corner.
I believe they are possum grommets.
Sure, that's what I make. You hit those things, man, and it would throw the car around everywhere. It didn't look like Machuca had that many problems with it there, but I know I was struggling if I ran wide there. So quick look back here in the battle for 8th is that Butler-Jerome battle. Nothing happening back there. Still the same order they've been in the whole time, but they are still doing battle with one another. Machuca gets the inside in turn 1 and clears the pass before the turn 2 chicane.
Would like him to do something cool so we can say fancy pants did a fancy pass.
Yeah.
Try saying that 5 times fast.
It would have to be better than the one we just saw. That was a pretty standard maneuver. But
I believe it was. Well, I mean, he's fancy, so instead of standard, it would be elegant or textbook.
Textbook. There you go. That's a good one. He didn't take long to close back in on Martin Edmonds here. Pulled right back in on him. I think this might be one of those Butler-Jerome style deals, as Edmonds abusing the track limits there. It's okay. I guess you can run pretty wide at that one and not pick up the drive-through. So that was wide.
I'm assuming that they are only penalizing certain sections of the track where you would gain a significant advantage if you cut part of it.
Most likely. I know it will invalidate your lap there. I did it a few times in the race. And same for the tight chicane that we're looking at here. If you get too much of the curve on the left, it'll give you a cut track warning. I did it twice. I didn't want to risk it a third time, so I was a little more careful.
Man, you gotta just live your life. You can't just listen to all the rules all the time, man.
You're not wrong. So we're about 25 minutes in here, getting close. The Stoff Mill watch, he's up to 8 seconds over Wallace in second, who's got a 5-second gap back to Carol Vega in third. That gap looks to be holding pretty steady. As I say that, it jumps up to 6. Again, could be the elevation of the circuit, I'm not sure. Looks like they're in the first half, which is pretty flat. But the first battle we're seeing right here is the one on screen. Machuca attacking Edmonds for 4th place, and they have almost dropped Ariel Zatoni.
How dare
Still
they?
has a comfortable gap back to Garani in there. So no pressure really. But if we see this battle here start to get dicey, and Machuca decides to start pushing for it, it would close Zatoni back up on the battle, which I'm sure he wouldn't mind.
Not at all.
Might see it here. Machuca got a good run out of the corner at the bottom of the hill there. Takes a look to the inside. Like he doesn't want to pressure it that much, just making Edmonds a little nervous there.
Which is always an admirable goal.
Absolutely.
Honk your horn at him. It'll be hilarious.
Oh man, if we had horns, that'd be great. I would use that instead of headlight flash.
How much extra weight would that put on the car to have a horn? I'm assuming that's why they don't have them.
Most likely that's why they don't have them. Couldn't be much though. I mean, it's a tiny little horn and a wire that runs to it.
One would assume you could just do it all digitally these days.
Yeah.
Just turn the whole car into a giant sounding board. Whap!
Oh man, that reminds me. A couple years ago, we were running. What was that thing called? Oh my God, I can't remember. The twin 8-hour? No, I don't know. Anyways, we were at VIR, and one of our guys had it exploded. Had an MX-5 that he used as a chump car.
Oh yeah.
And there was another team there. Granted, they were awesome. They had at their trailer, they were like pit cooking barbecue, and they had drinks and all kind of stuff after the races. But their car, they were a bar. Like I guess the guy that owned the car also owned a bar.
Oh, yeah.
They had like a bar. Man, I'm not doing good with the story. Anyway, the trunk
we got
deck,
like an hour.
Yeah, it'll take me that long. The trunk deck of the car was like like the top of a bar. It had the taps and all kind of stuff on it.
Oh, yeah.
And they had a giant speaker on the roof of the car. And during the full course yellows, they would just blare like 80s rock and roll as they were driving around the racetrack. It was freaking awesome.
That is hilarious, and I approve of all these things.
It was great.
That makes me want to barbecue something, but I don't have any large mammal chunks at the moment. I need to probably go procure one of those later.
Oh man, I'm gonna get hungry.
Correct.
Well, my excruciatingly long story that didn't need to be near that long gave Machuca time to close up to Edmonds. Gets the inside once again for turn 1, heading up into turn 2.
Fancy Francis, gonna do it.
Yes,
you did it to him. We did it, fam.
He clears him. That was a good move there. That was a fancy move.
Fancy pants did a fancy pass. Martin and Edmonds solidly in last place now. Been demoted all the way.
the last of, you know, the top 5. So
Whoa,
I guess you're kind of right. Oh man, we cut away from it as Evans was making a move back.
Swapping back and forth, too.
Oh man, they are side by side going through that corner up there. And yeah, it's like Machuca got the better of him. Yep, it is confirmed.
Established dominance, T-pose.
It's like Machuca's still got that car dancing around a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on. Was that server lag, or was that just some fancy footwork?
These things, man, especially at the tracks with the elevation changes like this, they you get on the brakes hard, and it will definitely try to pull the back end around. It doesn't drive strictly the way that you would think a front-wheel drive car does. The back end, normally in a front-wheel drive, just kind of sits there, and you just pull it wherever you want it to go. And these things, it'll step out on you. They're a lot of fun.
I'd like to apologize for any sirens you hear in the background. They are coming to arrest Stoffmeal.
Uh-oh. I thought we weren't picking him up until September 20th. You went early?
No. We got to pick him up before that. We got to deliver him. He's the fastest one. He's the only one that's going to get in.
Oh. Makes sense.
He can obviously Naruto run faster than anyone known to man.
That is the best part of the plan.
Indeed, the whole thing.
I just want to say that.
The whole thing is preposterous, and I enjoy the judicious use of Kyle's, especially because one of my friends' name is Kyle. And we keep taunting him with, oh, and recently they moved the Monster Energy drink stand into the computer department because it makes the most sense for it to be there. And so every day we're like, hey, there you go, your people are speaking to you, Kyle. You need something to just stay away from the walls.
It's fantastic.
We're enjoying it. Also, he's also into cosplay stuff. So I showed him if people aren't familiar with the band name Red Fang, you need to go out there and watch a video of theirs, Prehistoric Dog, and you'll understand where I'm going with this if you have seen the video, because in the music video they make armor out of like beer cans and stuff, and they make a warhammer out of like a mini keg, Heineken mini keg, and I keep telling him that he needs to be the ultimate Kyle and do the same thing with monster cans.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, I don't think it would stop bullets, but
no,
pretty
that's
awesome.
not the point.
Ooh. Jerome doing a good job there getting the car slowed down. He dropped some tires off in the grass. Generally not a good idea in these things. They will spin out that way very easily. But it looks like we saw a quick shot of it, but the pass had already happened. Zatoni had gotten around the run-in, but it looks like run-in has gotten that spot back again. Is that what I saw? Uh-oh.
Hello.
And there you go.
Ariel showing off for the fans at home.
That was a perfect example of dropping tires off in the grass. I'm pretty sure that's what happened there. Took him right around.
I think he got tased.
Possibly.
I've been watching a lot of donut operator videos. I recognize a good tasing when I see one now.
So Jerome's still putting the pressure. No, he's not. That's Mukinen, who had the drive-through earlier and has worked his way back up into 8th, separating finally that battle of Butler and Josiah Jerome.
If you kids can't play nice, I'm going to separate you. Pro Handy at the halfway point of the field.
Yeah, he's working his way back up nice. And Lazarenko was the other one. He is up to 12th. What was he at? 14th, I think. So he's
13th or 14th. He hasn't gone up too much, but Ariel Zatoni's back behind him now, so that'll be fun.
Yeah. Whoa, Mukinen making a brave move into the bus stop. Both drivers get through clean, but Mukinen could not get the pass done.
Pavel, don't call me Bure, Mukinen.
Looks like he will jump out to the inside. Once again, can't get it done. These cars are so heavy, man. It's hard to time when you're trying to make a dive like that. how late you can get on the brakes because they don't want to stop. But he gets a nice run out of the corner, staying tucked right up underneath the wing. Butler, he's going to make the move down here through the light little first corner. He does have the preferred line going into the chicane. He is going to edge out Butler, but guess what that does? That puts Josiah Jerome right back on Butler's tail.
All right.
So they were separated for a moment, but not for long. Josiah will get another run. See how he can do.
John Butler, inventor of what he calls the Butler fly, was later renamed without the L inexplicably.
I like it.
I was playing Skyrim earlier and grabbing butterflies as alchemy ingredients, and that actually occurred to me because I've got the Discord open on my left-hand monitor. I just like glanced over like, why is my brain doing these things? My brain does weird shit, and that's why I get to be on commentary, boys and girls.
Yeah, whatever entertains the folks at home.
PawsonGromans.com.
So we got Darren King, who has also caught the battle. Good God. Caught the battle of Butler and Jerome. And let's see if he can finally get these guys separated. No one else has been able to so far.
Bottom of 7th place, it's battle up time. Josiah Jerome stepping up to the plate, looking to T-bone his way to victory.
It's looking like we may get to watch this battle for a while, as you've got a 11-second gap between the first and second place cars, followed by an almost 8-second gap back to the third place car, and then a massive gap back to Fran Machuca and Martin Edmonds, who, since Machuca's gotten around him, has begun to pull away.
Machuchu!
So that just shows you that Machuca obviously has a pace advantage over Edmonds here. But
that is correct.
This track, man, you can catch people, but there's only a few really good passing spots, and you really got to take advantage of them. If not, you're going to be stuck for a while.
Because Fran Machuca is muy picante.
Whoa, King with a bobble. Looks like he took too much curb. He did separate Butler and Jerome for a moment.
Perhaps he needs to curb his enthusiasm.
Oh, and Josiah does not like being separated from Butler.
That's my friend!
Although he does do the sportsman-like thing and make sure the King maintains the position. I do like that.
When the teacher says you can't work with your best friend in class.
But it looks like that is going to separate that battle. As
Mr.
Butler
Boutelier.
pulls a 3-second gap on that one. Or no, a 4-second gap. I'm looking at the wrong number.
19-second gap.
So at some point here, we have lost John Picha 6 laps down. I would imagine that is a disconnect.
I think so, yeah.
Something to that effect.
Mr. Stoffmeal watch up to 10 seconds, almost 10 and a half.
Yeah, I would have liked to try to have caught him, but I was having major fogging issues in my VR headset.
Oh, really?
I'm not gonna say that's why I couldn't catch him, because we all know it's not. I wouldn't have caught him anyway. But it was, I kept having to like stretch it away from my face and like wave it to get the
Is there
fog
not
to
some
go
sort
away.
of, there's some sort of ventilation procedure you can perform with perhaps a Dremel?
I mean, I guess so, but then I'm gonna be letting light in.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Although
Sounds like someone
hopefully,
needs to do some modification with some hot glue, a fan, and Dremel.
just drill a hole and slap a fan in it. I like it.
Fuck yeah.
But no, I've got the Rift S that I bought off of Wesley. I just haven't switched the head strap yet because I'm lazy. But that one doesn't sit as snug against your face, so it probably would have better ventilation to where you're not gonna fog up so bad. I would imagine. Anyways.
I would assume, I would have assumed that they would have taken that into account when making these things. Like, these are going to be fastened to somebody's head. They're going to get kind of excited. Excited means hot. Hot means fog. They didn't.
You would think so.
They didn't think to just put like some sort of small, tiny fan in there to just kind of blow some air around.
And there's not really much room, especially for something like a fan.
Well,
It's
I'm
a pretty
assuming they
small
could make
unit.
a very small one. Wouldn't need much.
Probably not.
I don't know much, but I know I'll kill you.
But then you run the risk of like something going wrong and the fan explodes and somebody loses an eye and gets $1 million.
But you get to you get $1 million, and B, you get an eye patch. Come on, son. Where's the downside? Oh,
Yes.
depth perception. Depth perception. My bad.
Yeah, then you can't really use your VR headset.
Well, I mean, not with that attitude.
Well, not to its full potential, anyways.
Maximum effort.
Just if that were to happen, I would just hope they were streaming the event because I would love to see that.
That would be infotaining. We have Martin asking Jean-Simon if he is perhaps around to do the ACC, and if he is, I might jump in to do live commentary with him.
Ooh,
But
yes.
I haven't seen Jean-Simon online in a little bit, so I don't know what he's doing today.
Yeah, I haven't either.
And the game is $52, so I have no plans on buying a game I'm not actually going to play just for commentary reasons.
I can't blame you.
Not that I don't want to do commentary. I'm just not paying that money for a game I'm not actually going to play.
Can you like piggyback on somebody that's actually doing the race and
Yes.
something other than what they're viewing?
Well, what we did last time is we used this thing called Parsec, and you can basically, it's like a remote desktop thing, and I can watch what's happening on somebody else's computer. And since we were together on TeamSpeak, I was able to just do commentary. The downside is that there seems to be no way to cancel out your own audio. So, by virtue of the fact that Jean-Simon had like a really sore throat and couldn't do commentary, he just muted himself, and so I didn't hear my own feedback on his computer. But every time we've done it, otherwise, it's been like that. So I'd have to just basically mute the audio from Parsec and continue to carry on. Which means I can't actually hear the race, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah, and I was gonna say if that worked, then you could like piggyback off of me. But if you have to watch what I'm watching, it's just gonna be.
Well, yeah, I could just piggyback
holes.
on you and then talk shit the whole time.
Yeah, I mean you could definitely
Wallace!
point out all of my mistakes. Because at Paul Ricard, there's probably gonna be plenty. Very flat, technical track.
Jean-Luc Picard.
Yes, it's his. That's why it's named that.
Oh, why is there not there's a Paul Ricard but not a Jean-Luc Picard? Come on, son. Who's dropping all the ball here?
God, speaking of, I might have to subscribe to that CBS Go so I can watch Picard.
It looks like there's weird things going on in the background on that one. They're rushing that into production like fucking madmen.
Yeah.
I don't know all the details, but there's some really messed up stuff with the Star Trek intellectual property rights. Like all the movies, the 3 movies they did, the recent ones.
Uh-huh.
They all had to be minimum 40% completely different than your regular Star Trek timeline things, because a different company had the rights to make movies, but they don't have the intellectual property rights to the original stuff. So they had the rights to make the movies, but they have to legally be a certain percentage completely different than the originals. Like they can't use the original uniforms, they can't use the original designs of a lot of things. It's I didn't know any of this when the movies were coming out, and I still enjoyed the movies a whole bunch. So, but looking back on it, it makes a lot of sense as to why people were upset. And there's what show? They're doing two Star Trek shows, aren't they? They're doing Picard and something else.
Yeah, Discovery,
Yeah,
which
so Discovery is one of those has to be minimum 40%, like completely different. So they're running
really,
into like massive issues. Like we're not allowed to do this. We're not allowed to do that. We're not allowed. And since they're also legally, they have to be so much more distinct from the original Star Trek stuff. None of the toy companies want to do anything with them. So they're missing out on almost all the money they could be making from any of these ventures. So a lot of it might completely fail because it's just legally fucked.
that's interesting. That would explain the I mean, not necessarily continuity differences from Discovery,
Yeah.
because it is vastly different from the like original storyline from that
Yeah,
timeline.
exactly. Yeah, so that's why they
But
have like in the movies where they have like yeah, all the timeline shit.
well, then that means that if it's got to be that different, then they probably are. I don't know if you're watching it. I don't know how caught up you are,
I'm not.
but it looks like this last season they're introducing the Borg, but with a
Nice.
completely different origin story from where the Borg came from in,
Oh,
uh, like the Delta Quadrant, and they've been here for millennia and all that kind of stuff. It looks like it's being created on the show, like a new form of
nice.
technology that's going to turn into the Borg, which
Oh,
I
that's kind of
didn't
cool.
like, but with this new information that I did not know before, um, that's that's probably not a completely bad thing.
Yeah, there's a. I'll have to find it. I watched the whole. This guy did like an almost an expose video on it, on the whole thing, and I really feel bad for like the Discovery and like the movies because the movies I really enjoyed them, but a lot of the purists are just hardcore set against them. Like believe that they're complete butchery and trash.
I'm a
But I mean, they did the best they
huge,
could with what they had.
yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Star Trek nerd, but the movies I absolutely loved. I mean, I knew going in that they weren't going to be, like the same storyline. I knew there was going to be differences, and they changed it vastly, even though they're still sticking to basically the same story, just different characters playing the parts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the movies were all great, and now they can't get the actors back on board for
Well, I
the
mean, they're all doing different things.
yeah, yeah, and I don't know. It seems like that one's gonna fall apart. They're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna be able to continue it. But on the bright side, I'm 90% sure that it has been confirmed that Tarantino's last film is gonna be the Star Trek film. His 10th movie will be
Oh,
the Star Trek movie.
oh boy.
And
Somebody's gonna get Klingon.
don't know how true this is, but Picard said the only way that he would come back in the movies to portray that role would be if Tarantino were to make the film. And now Tarantino's last film is going to be a Star Trek film, and you know, that would be so cool.
That
That
would
would
be
be so
interesting.
cool.
I'm trying to find as the race goes on, and Yevgeny Lazarenko continues to climb in the order. I am trying to find that video to see if I can just link you up.
Yeah, we have gotten vastly off topic. At
Yeah, it's
some
an hour
point,
long. It's an
Garunian.
hour and a half race, man. What do you want?
At some point, Garunian has fallen back behind Lazarenko again. Those were your two cars that had the drive-throughs, and so no, that was Mukinen. Garunian. How did Garunian end up back there? What did I miss? He was up
You
front.
missed all the things.
Oh, wait a minute. Pit stops have started, you guys. For
Correct.
those that have been watching the race. Yeah, pit stops are in progress, so we are going to see some people jumping around here.
I was going to ask you about that earlier on. Like, when do you think pit stops are going to start? And then we just started talking about cool shit.
Yeah, man, we start talking Star Trek, I'm going to get distracted. But it looks like Josiah has caught up once again to James Butler, so that battle's back underway. So we're taking a look at Lazarenko here, putting Loeffler under some pressure. Loeffler's had a quiet race so far.
Yeah, he's been kind of in the back of the pack the majority of the time. He's slowly climbing now, but that might be due to pit stops.
Could be. Oh, Butler running a little wide there. And is that going to give Josiah the opportunity to capitalize? It doesn't look like it. He is using the draft, but it looks like he's fallen back from Butler, even in the draft, which is interesting. Ah, there you go. Yes, now he's using the headlight flash.
Get him!
Trying to distract Butler. I like it. Play the mind games.
There you go. I think I found it. I think that's the video. You just check your Discord later.
Alright, cool.
I mean,
Appreciate
you can do it
that.
now, but the people might be upset.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the race, I think. Rather than going on a, what was that, like a 15-minute side note of Star Trek there?
At least 7.5, if not more.
Oh man, yeah, we were like just under an hour, and now we're almost at 40 minutes. I
What other kind
completely
of nerd
lost
shit
track
can we
of
talk
time.
about?
But looks like a lot of the mid-pack has now pit. So that's about half of the pit stops, it looks like, out of the way. And I'm wondering how many people, as Mike Stoffmill drops off into the pits, that's going to leave Travis Wallace in first. I believe Carl Vega and Martin Evans are also staying out, so that's going to be your new 1, 2, 3. But I wonder how many people started with a lighter fuel load, knowing that there was going to be a pit stop somewhere in the middle. Because I started with a full fuel load, and I still way short pitted. I think I was only going to be on full tank about 10 minutes short of the hour and a half in this car.
Well, that's sounds like maybe you were too fat to catch Stoffmill.
I don't know. Stoffmill had a pretty quick stop. I'm thinking he either ran the full tank and only took a light fuel load and then changed tires, or he only ran like a half a tank at the start of the race and then threw back in a half a tank and didn't take tires. Because either way, it was not a very long pit stop for Stoffmill. As you can see, he's already back out on the track and sitting in fourth.
Obviously did not have his transmission changed either.
So here we go. We got Lazarenko coming in the pits now. Ha! Stoffmill's not in the lead, so it's going to show the leader. In your face.
In your face, Chocolate Thunder.
Yeah, so you can, I mean, you can see, even with the pit stops and stuff going on, the gaps at the front are really big. I think that's a lot of the guys that we were missing, apparently. Because I know normally we're doing battle a fair amount of these 90-minute races, and it was pretty much just a hot lapping session for about the top 4 or 5 there towards the end. So, what was that? That was Lazarenko coming out of the pits, I believe, that we were watching there. So this would be Loeffler, maybe, that I'm coming up on the back of? I believe so.
Maybe.
No? I don't know. It was a car.
Indeed, you are not
There's
incorrect
Loeffler,
about
so
that.
It definitely was not Loeffler. He's way up the road.
When
there
do we get
go.
to watch you guys rip around in your Chevy pickup trucks?
Zatoni, that would have been Ariel Zatoni. I mean, we did
Chevy
just
pickup
get,
truck 500.
We did just get some of the Pro 2 and Pro 4 trucks in iRacing. I'm just saying.
Ooh.
We could do truck racing.
Was it? I think it was Darcy was showing me some. They basically do trophy truck races, like almost obstacle course style. I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah, that's what they are. The trophy, or not? No, which one? The stadium trucks are the ones on the asphalt. The trophy trucks are the dirt ones. The Pro 2 and Pro 4. They are a freaking blast.
You get all squirrely up on like
it.
one tire, screaming around a corner.
Yeah, they are quite fun. Quite fun.
It seems enjoyable, and something like we should probably do commentary on.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I could totally record some of, I could go run a couple and send them to you. You can do commentary on them.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah, they're a blast, man. All the jumping and whatnot, sliding. 2 things you cannot do in these cars, though.
Well, not with that attitude.
It will fall to pieces.
I don't give a fuck. I won't see it.
So Tony here, taking a look at Loeffler. Coming up front stretch. And he has the leader coming up on him. So I'm not sure if these guys are going to yield to the blue flag or if they're going to keep going for it. Looks like they're going to keep going for it. And Lazarenko there. Or not Loeffler. Yielding to the blue flag. Gonna give Tony a pretty big lead. Oh. There's some headlights.
Get out of the way! Schnell! You're obstructing the greatness. Whoa, somebody's on the key later.
Yeah, we see Perez Torres off
Have
the
a
back.
key.
And apparently running wide into the sand trap gives you a drive-through. That's interesting.
Yeah, that is weird. Like, why would they penalize you for going so far off track? It's like, you, sir, since you have delayed yourself incredibly, we're gonna need you to do more of that.
Yeah, I mean, like that was not a quicker line at all.
No, I don't understand that particular decision, but carry on.
So taking a look at Stoffmill and how he's going to do coming back. He only fell to 4th, but he did follow. I think it was close to 5 seconds behind Edmonds, and he's already closing that gap. He's going to be working his way back up onto the podium, while your top 3 still have to make their pit stop. So I think it is safe to say the Stoffmill will retain the lead.
That seems like a fair and adequate decision, although I hear that this Travis Wallace guy might be pretty quick with the car.
I hear he's not that quick.
Well, he's slightly quicker than me.
I hear he can compete with Stoffmill when Stoffmill carries a Clydesdale in his trunk.
Just strap it right to the top of the car.
Yes.
Fucks with your aerodynamics and weight.
Yes. So, looks like Jerome has hit pit road. Butler stayed out. So those two, it'll be interesting to see where they're going to pick up after Butler does come in to take his pit stop. I wonder if they'll still be doing battle all the way to the end, or if Jerome getting the fresh tires early is going to give him an advantage in the long run.
Now, Travis, is it true that you have straight bourbon in your drink bottle during the race?
That and the fuel tank.
Excellent.
So Buchanan, instead of going for the pass there, we do know that he has pit, so he does have the fresher tires, is deciding to just stay behind Butler.
Is this a decision to warm up the tires?
I think it actually showed a shot of him on pit road, and it was several laps ago. They should be warm, I would imagine.
I don't know how any of this works, and I'm just taking fucking shots in the dark here.
Well, the cool thing, this game, it actually like simulates the tire warmers. So when you go in and get the pit stop and come back out, they're already warm. They're not hot, like up to full temp, but I think they're like 80 degrees Celsius. And on this car, mine were staying in the upper 90s, so they're already pretty warm. It only takes about a lap, and they're at full temp as Buchanan and Butler bumping doors. Buchanan will gain
and that makes the
advantage.
tires all sticky and grippy?
Yeah, something like that.
Is it true, Travis, that you are the Joey Janela of sim racing?
Oh, man, I'm probably not that good. He's the man.
I
don't know how I would do the equivalent of...
Yeah. You haven't driven through a light tube factory that's on fire?
No. That's what I was gonna say. I don't know how I could do in a car the equivalent of him being slammed off of the top of a building through light tubes and boards into the back of a flaming pickup truck.
Correct.
I don't know how to replicate that in car form.
It's a pretty good spot. You should definitely look into some Big Japan wrestling if you can find it. They have gone out of business, and once you start watching it, you'll find out why. They're a little extreme.
That's not the ones that had the like the steel cages with 2 rings.
Mm-hmm.
And there was, oh god, yeah, I can see why. I'm surprised
they would have
that,
explosive
like,
turnbuckle
every
matches.
time they had a show. That was some just absolutely insane stuff.
Yeah, explosive turnbuckles, ropes wrapped in razor wire, you betcha. I saw one where they had like really big ass spikes through like a sheet of plywood. It's not like your bed of nails where the surface area is so great you can't actually really get hurt. Like, it does hurt, but you're not going to get as hurt as you think you would. No, these were pretty just sharp ass large spikes. It's messed up.
Yeah, there's no way.
It's right up your alley.
Yeah, I have seen a few of those matches, and they're like I said, I don't know how people didn't die. Like, I watched a guy throw somebody from the top of the cage, and he landed. I mean, there was just no art. He didn't throw him right at all, and the dude didn't fall right. He just hit the ground, and I swear to God, he died.
Yeah, that does happen. Not very frequently at all, but some fly-by-night bullshit thing will go down. One night we're gonna have to just sit. We're gonna have a trios night, and Mike's just gonna serve us up CZW matches to watch, and we'll just watch that for an evening and drink.
I'm good with that.
We'll see some weed whackers to the groin type areas. Anybody else interested in pro wrestling? Come on by.
I've seen somebody take it to the chest, never the groin.
Oh no, groin.
I've hit my ankles, and I mean, it feels like you're on fire. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a couple tricks. I mean, yeah, you can stuff some socks down your junk and wear just some really thick jeans, and you probably will be all right. Plus, the ladies like it. Pull a spinal tap and just put a zucchini wrapped in tinfoil down your pants.
There you go. So it looks like the battle we're looking at here is your closest battle on track. Nope, 14th and 15th. There we go. He's listening to me. See that?
Juan Barcadero.
Oh no. John Barker has damage.
Juan Barcadero currently racing in 40 degrees Celsius heat. Have you seen the temperatures in England?
Yeah, he's
Holy
a trooper.
Shit.
There's no way. I mean, it's like 75 in my house, and I sweat my ass off. I don't know how he does it in that heat.
Slightly back on the pro wrestling tip, there's a YouTube channel called Wrestle Talk that I watch, and they just do, they film the videos in their office, and every single video for the past week and a half has just been them sweating their ass off. It literally looks like somebody came by with a spray bottle and hosed them down before they went on air. It is truly amazing. I want no part of that bullshit. But
speaking of the close battle, Barker gets the run coming out of the tighter chicane on Perez Torres. Uh-oh, Machuca abusing them track limits.
Fancy Francis, you dirty bastard.
So this late in the race, that is going to hurt quite a bit. He's running 6th. Yep. Oh man, he's going to
drop way down.
He's going to be out of the top 10 for sure.
He might be all the way to the back, depending on, well, it depends on like what we saw earlier. You had somebody in, what was it Yevgeny? Somebody was in, Yevgeny was in like 4th and dropped all the way down to like 13th.
Yeah, the field's a bit more spread out now, but I still think he's going to come out, around that 11th, 12th place.
Prime for a harpooning from Javi P.
So he is in the pit road for the drive-thru, so we'll see where he comes out there on the board. But this battle closed up quite nicely, so we got a 3-car battle here for 9th position between Butler, Lazarenko, and Zatoni. Lazarenko just not able to bounce back from that early penalty. Fell back pretty far, and he's been struggling trying to get back up. He has made it back inside the top 10, but small field. I think he only fell to 14th, so he's only gained 4 spots about the last 40 minutes. So I talked big about him at first on his triumphant return, but he seems to be struggling a little bit. Got to work the rust off. Maybe he'll be back into full swing.
I anticipate that to be the truth.
So Mukinen didn't go as far back as I thought he would. I was predicting about 11th or 12th. Looks like he's come out in 8th. So only lost a couple of positions. So not as bad as it could have been, but now he's at a 15-second gap back up to Grunion there. safe to say 30 minutes. I don't know that he's going to be able to close that. That'll be an average of half a second a lap. And those two have been pretty similar in pace. So I'm not sure he's going to be able to get that to work out. But back up to inside the top 5. Your leader has now pit and rejoined once again in 4th. Stoff Mill still trying to work his way away from Edmonds, who's held on quite nice considering he's on old tires. Stoff Mill.
All hail glorious leader Travis.
Is potentially on the new ones. But again, I don't know which strategy he went with. He may not have changed tires.
Possibly not.
Not sure. I know I did. So my front ones are fresh. And so the only ones left to pit, as far as the front of the pack goes, it looks like Carol Vega and Martin Edmonds.
Travis, is it true that the entire time you race anything, you listen to the Soviet national anthem on loop?
100% false.
But what about the dance remix?
Not big on the dance remixes. Oh, who is that? Loeffler? It's like he
it
made
was.
the move. Yeah, he made the move to get around Josiah Jerome and completely overcooked it.
You
for
have
that
moved
first
wrong.
chicane. So still Loeffler struggling. And now he's lost Josiah Jerome here, back to about 3.5 seconds back.
Well, we might have commentary for the ACC. Jean-Simon has sounded off.
Well, I hope he does. I enjoy it.
ACC, not to be confused with the ADCC. That's a whole different competition.
Or the ADAC.
That is probably also true.
It's like Zatoni's still trying to do work. This was this not the battle for, what was that, 4th earlier in the race?
Oh yeah.
Almost an hour ago, I believe those two were battling for 4th, and now we're seeing them battle for 9th position.
I gotta say, I think the Captain Consistency Award goes to Darren King here. That boy has not had a problem, has not caused an issue, and has slowly, until right now, he's dropping in the standings as I say things out loud.
Quickest commentator curse ever.
Fuck me running.
But I believe he just went in the pits. I don't think that's
Oh,
off.
yeah, I see.
I think he stayed out a long time, gained some
Yeah.
track position, and now he's in the pits.
Fair enough, but I mean, still, he was climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing until I opened my big mouth.
Yeah, you couldn't have timed that any better.
Not at all.
Zatoni
I'm just
getting
gonna
the
keep
run.
watching.
Getting the run. Second chicane. He does have the preferred line. Ooh. Goes very cautious. I think if he'd have went in there a little deeper, he could have cleared Lazarenko there and taken the spot. Again, I think this is one of those scenarios where Zatoni is quicker than Lazarenko, just based off of what we're looking at here. But you got to time the passes just right in these cars. They're so heavy that the braking, timing that is difficult, and then also trying to put the power down to come out of the corner. They don't have much power, so you get any kind of wheel spin and you just kill all the momentum this thing has.
Well, I mean, obviously the only solution to that is to just hammer the gas and never stop. Just drift everything all the time.
You heard it here. Map your handbrake. Next Enduro is a drift event. 90-minute drift event.
90-minute drift event, 4 drink minimum. You get really, really good about drink 2.5, and then after that, it's all downhill.
Oh man, drunk drifting. That's something I can get into.
Yes. Friday night drunk drift. You heard it here first, folks.
So as I was saying that Zatoni appeared to be the quicker car, it only took about half the track for Lazarenko to pull over a half-second gap on him. Seeing Mukinen making a nice pass there on Machuca. Clears him nicely. See if Machuca's gonna bow out or if he's gonna make the run to get that spot back.
You cannot stop the Fancy Francis.
I mean,
He will succeed against all odds.
this is pretty much the only spot these two are going to be able to fight for, is there's a 15-second gap ahead and a 15-second gap behind. I mean, they're not going to go any higher or lower than 6th and 7th.
Fancy Francis will put the paella in your tailpipe.
So basically, what I'm saying is, for the last 20 minutes, these two should be in a dogfight.
Probably. What's the odds that we see only this competition? Oh, I was gonna say, what are the odds we're only gonna see those two duke it out for like the rest of the time? And then we see Mike Stoffmill. A wild Mike Stoffmill appears.
He does.
We don't get him on camera very often.
He has caught up to Carol Vega, who is yet to make his pit stop. That is how much of a lead.
Jesus.
Even though he's in second, Stoffmill has at the moment.
And he's gonna go through. Don't even think that Stoffmill's gonna just wait.
Oh God!
Here
no.
it comes. Here it comes.
He knows he's pitting, but
here it comes.
Stoffmill doesn't like not being in the lead.
Hello, Shirley.
See the difference there in the braking. I would imagine, since Carol Vega knows he's pitting, that was just he's gonna go ahead and let him go. This isn't actually a race for the lead, and his race is with Martin Edmonds, who at some point has had some kind of issue. Because I'm not sure that was a 14-second gap earlier. I feel like they were closer than that. And Carol Vega still not going to go into the pits. Looks like he's going to use the draft from Stoffmill to maybe pull a little bit more time over Edmonds. God, I remember what happened in the race. I remember seeing it, but
with your eyes.
Yes, but I cannot remember for the life of me now what it was that put Edmonds that far behind.
I believe he stopped for some pate.
Did he get a slowdown? No, they're not doing slowdowns. It's drive-throughs, and that's not a big enough gap for a drive-through. I can't remember. Anyway, taking a look back here. Loeffler putting the hip check on the newcomer king there, showing him how we do it here in ESR.
Darren King looking to rebuild his glorious, consistent climb through the things. Mr. Loeffler, you are been targeted for destruction. Or just passing. I mean, probably just passing.
And that is your leader right there behind him. That's Mike Stoffmill in the blue car coming through.
Excuse me, boys.
King doing a nice job of getting out of the way, as does Loeffler, and they will pick this battle up now that the leaders come through. Although they still do have a blue flag, as that's Carol Vega behind them there.
You must make way for the crocodile.
So this battle with Lazarenko and Zatoni. Zatoni's still doing the chasing, and that gap is about what it was last time we saw him on the front stretch. So I'm going to venture a guess that Zatoni has got the upper hand through the first part of the course, and Lazarenko's got the upper hand in the back half of the course. As who was that was off there? That was Carol Vega. My goodness. So Edmonds taking over that position, which is currently second, but Wallace right on the heels here of Carol Vega. Looks like Vega's going to the pits after having the off. Actually, I think that's what I was thinking of. It wasn't Edmonds' mistake that I ended up seeing. It was Vega falling behind Edmonds for a big gap.
Is it true that the French people are just vertical Dutch people?
Well, they're not horizontal.
It's a flag joke.
Oh, okay. I missed that joke.
Indeed. And Russian people are just messed up Dutch people.
Sure.
Maybe we can get some comments in the comments below from maybe Mike Stoffmill. I'm not going to explain the joke to you, I'm sorry. I'll do it later.
Ah, it's fine. It's fine.
I know that you're colorblind and it's a real problem, but... Actually, you know what the weird thing is? That off on a little small tangent, the majority of the really excellent video game players that I know, all fucking colorblind as shit.
Huh.
Yeah, and on like team-based games, like World of Tanks, all the best players I know on World of Tanks, there's a red team and a green team. Guess which colors colorblind people can't see the majority of the time? Best players I know. The absolute best player I know personally is so fucking colorblind. He has problems getting through the house at night. It's an issue.
Is that one of the games that have the colorblind mode? I have noticed
It
a
does.
lot of games are coming out with colorblind mode now.
It does have colorblind mode. I think it actually has a couple, but he hates them. He says it doesn't work.
Huh. Interesting.
And I've got another friend who plays the game, and he says he just memorizes the team lists.
Wow.
Like what? And there's 15 people on each team.
Yeah, that's a lot of memorizing.
Like, are you
And
fucking
then you have
kidding
to,
me?
when you see somebody, you have to make that decision before you pull the trigger. Wow.
Yup.
That's a lot to process. I couldn't do it.
No, me neither. The good news is they're actually taking. That's the small other tangent. Very sorry, but they're taking team damage out of specifically World of Tanks. So what is that going to do to his stats if he doesn't have to even think about it anymore? Like you can't harm your own teammate. Just go.
Yeah, that he should go way up.
Boom! Oh, that didn't do. Oh, it must be a teammate. Aim it at the next guy.
I guess you'll find out if he's lying or not at that point.
No, I'm pretty sure he's fucking colorblind. Trust me on that one.
No, I mean about the memorizing the list, or if it's like
well, he won't even have to try anymore.
Yeah.
Just memorize. All he'll have to do is memorize one list, so he doesn't have to worry about. It's like that guy wasn't on the list I memorized earlier.
His win ratio goes way up because he can just free fire, but his accuracy is gonna tank.
He already wins like more than 60% of his games, and he's got like 30,000 games played.
Jesus Christ.
He's not bad at the game. He's pretty okay at it.
Well, with that many games, I would hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, I played a load of Modern Warfare, but I don't think I hit 30,000.
Well, maybe you should just, stop quitting all the things all the time.
Man, I thought Zatoni was going to go around the outside of the hairpin.
I was just kind of just saying things and watching and going, am I going to have to comment? No. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, let's ring.
Tony seems to be, I think you said earlier, he just lacks a killer instinct.
Well, he tried to put it in motion there, that is for sure. It would have worked better if he'd have went for the inside, but, Lazarenko defending, what are you going to do?
Ooh, Yevgeny, the laser shark Lazarenko.
But I would say that it's looking like Zatoni does have the upper hand in the first part of the course, and then Lazarenko can pull the gap on him at the end, because that they're rubber banding as they go around the course. That's how it's going.
What is this, Gran Turismo?
Yes.
So, can we get a Gran Turismo race night?
God, no.
Man! My brother and I, the original Gran Turismo, we would put on rubber banding, maximum tire damage, and get the most complicated track at 30 laps and play hit to pass. If you didn't get a good hit on somebody, you had to actually stop, let them by, and then do it again, because it's hit to pass rules.
I like it.
One time I was coming uphill, I knew I had to I had to take a wide left to go around this right-hand hairpin, and he came up from behind me and power pitted me into oblivion. It was actually pretty freaky. I didn't know he was coming. I didn't see anything. I wasn't checking my rear view. Just like, boom!
I approve of his tactics.
It was good. Javi PT disqualified.
Oh.
Wow.
So I guess we missed a speeding in pit road penalty, maybe.
Apparently. That's, sir, that's very dangerous, and you could destroy the entire universe. Disqualified.
I am pretty sure that with Martin Edmonds pitting there, that was the last car to go into the pits. So the running order is how it sits. I don't think anybody's gonna tank down the field from a pit stop. So the battles you're looking at are going to be the battles to the end. 13 minutes left, and Edmonds looks like he did come out of the pits in front of Vega. Yeah, he's definitely back on track now. So
Correct.
So Stoffmill with a 23-second lead. We'd say that's pretty secure. And then a 36-second gap back to third place. Edmonds, who I have a feeling is going to be defending against Vega. I can confirm that neither of those drivers took tires during the pit stop. So they just threw in a few liters to make it to the end. And now they're going to be rubbing. They're going to be running on worn out tires.
Who do they think they are? Jorgen Walby?
Maybe.
Seems fair. Whatever happened to Norik Marsupial anyway? I haven't seen him around in a while.
Yeah, he hasn't been here in a while. Oh!
Yeah, get him. Oh,
my God.
Breaky action. Very nice.
Woo. I thought that was going to be it for this battle. I think it scared both of them as well, as they both run wide out of the corner.
They shall become one car.
So
I was watching some of that 24-hour race yesterday.
Yeah?
It seemed interesting, and then one man just went into the wall. I don't know who it was. I don't remember. He was coming up around a corner, and part of his car stopped working, and he just went, boom, smash. His whole front end was hanging out, the air intake, the big old pipe. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I did check the highlights. I only watched small clippets of 24 Hours of Spa, but it looked like an action-packed race, because started in the dry, and then it rained, and then it dried, and then it rained, and then it dried, and then it rained. It was back and forth. But
yeah, they were interviewing one guy. He's like, if it was consistently one thing or the other, it's not a problem. We can do either. It's just back and forth shit we can't deal with.
Yeah, I'm sure it would get frustrating, especially with the decision they didn't red flag it, but they took all the cars off the track for, God, what was it, like 5 or 6 hours, I think? It was a long-ass time while it rained, yeah. And then when it let up, they let them back out. That would be frustrating as hell, man. Taking a break that long in the middle of a race and then having to go back to it.
I'd refuse to come in. No, I'm rucksack.
I'm gonna keep doing laps.
I've watched Rush 5 times. I know how to do this. Give me some holes in my helmet.
God, I love that movie.
It is great. Daniel Bruhl as the uptight asshole. That is also pretty much right the whole time.
Yeah.
You don't want him to be right, but he is.
So this is another battle that we haven't gotten on screen much here lately, but I have been watching it on the timing. The Mukin and Machuca battle. And Machuca
that sounds like the worst disease ever. I come down with the Mukin and Machuca. I don't want any of that. No, sir.
Yeah, that sounds like it would be terrible.
Oh, where's Hank? He's in the back, Mukin and Machuca. No, sir. Thank you and good night.
Oh my God. But this battle had separated to about 1.5 seconds. And Machuca managed to close that gap. So he's got 10 minutes now that he's caught him to get something done. And again, everybody is so far apart that it's just separation and a couple of small 2-car battles. And looking at the timing board, Vega has cut about half the time off since he come out of the pits from Edmonds, who is steady falling back because of the not changing the tires. But we know Vega didn't change the tires either, so that'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on. I'm sure we'll get a shot of it later.
If we get Federico Zwanger in here, he would win the whole thing because he just wouldn't stop. He can't be stopped. Too much hatred.
Run out of gas and get out and push.
Yep. He'd just use momentum. He'd just build up so much momentum you wouldn't be able to stop him. I think you and he should form a racing team.
Get it under control, bud.
If you and Federico's made a racing team, which one would be the Sith Lord and which would be the apprentice? I don't know who's angrier.
Not sure. Uh-oh. Oh! That was Mukonen.
It was Mukonen.
Mukonen off at the bottom of the hill.
Mukonen, Machukin all over the place.
My word. Well, that's one way to do it.
That's the ultimate psycho.
Yeah, he's still not in danger of losing that 7th spot, though. I mean, 17 seconds back to this battle between Lazarenko and Zatoni. And there we go. Now we're going to get a shot of the battle for third. Yes, third. Vega slowly closing the gap. Getting to look at some very pretty trees.
I do like trees. They are majestic and noble creatures.
Who is this behind these guys? It's definitely not Butler. It must be Stoffmill.
Mike Stoffmill currently 45 laps ahead of everybody.
Believable. Inaccurate, but believable.
It says right there, 46 laps ahead of everybody. It's right there in black and white, or white and black, depending on how your perspective.
Looks like we're going to bounce back and forth between the battle for 3rd and the battle for 7th. Zatoni's still unable. I mean, he's been chasing for a while here. Still unable to get something done on Lazarenko. I'm wondering if maybe Machuca did not change his tires as well, because we've seen his car moving around quite a bit. I don't know if that's the worn out tires coming into effect, or if that's just him just simply pushing to find a way around Lazarenko.
Chuka Verl, choo. Oh, sorry, what?
But we do know that we have the potential to see this battle get broken up here as Stoffmill's closing in on these guys. So they definitely have the blue flag at this point.
Get out of the way!
Well, I mean, you don't necessarily need to get out of the way. Stoffmill not exactly close enough yet. Blue flag's more just to, you know, hey, there's a higher class or a faster car coming up behind you. Be mindful. That's more of the blue flag. You don't have to get off the line and cramp the brakes. That's actually more dangerous than staying on the racing line for anybody watching. You know, stay on the racing line, keep doing your thing, but when the other car goes to make the pass, let off the gas. Let them take it. You're not racing them. I was gonna say, Zatoni may have been thinking that there. Stoffmill's still not quite close enough to perform the overtake. That just shows you. I mean, even though these guys are battling for 7th at the moment, and so far behind, they have a good pace. Almost looks like Stoffmill's more being patient at this point, seeing that they're doing battle, knowing they're driving hard. He's really gonna time out the pass. There he goes. Nice job there of Zatoni moving out of the way.
I was going to say, I think Stoffmill has a pretty comfortable lead over 2nd place at this point.
I would say so.
He can afford to wait.
So now...
And 2nd place has this enormous world-killing lead over 3rd. My God, the guy in 3rd must be absolute trash.
I didn't say it. But Carol Vega, speaking of the guy in 3rd, closing in on Martin Edmonds, who is in 3rd. Hovering right around the 1 second mark. It looks like he ran him down. I wouldn't say easily, but he closed in on him fairly quickly. And now that he's hit that 1 second mark, he's only got a little under 3 minutes. That's about 2 laps. It's a big gap. I'm not exactly sure where Stoffmill is on the track, but potentially only 2 laps left to close that gap and get the pass. And we've seen over and over again that it's fairly easy to catch up to someone here, but it's not a passer's track. There's about 3 or 4 good spots around this circuit. It's a long lap, almost a 2-minute lap, so you really got to be strategic with the passing.
So what you're saying is be very judicious with your pit maneuvers. Don't be anywhere near any cameras, and just kind of do your thing.
That is exactly what I'm saying. Reading between the lines. But he has managed to close the gap. He's
Indeed,
on him at this point.
Carol Vega's been all over this goddamn race.
He has. He's we've seen him on camera in the front, in the back, in the pits. He's definitely the star. Picking the battle back up for 7th here. Stoffmill has gotten around Lazarenko now. And Zatoni right back on the back of Lazarenko, not letting him go anywhere. But I'm pretty sure by the time they get back to the start-finish, Stoffmill's going to be hitting the white flag. So this is going to be 2 laps for Carol Vega to get the pass done here, as he's sitting a quarter second off the bumper of Martin Edmonds. So 2 to go there. And let's see if they can get it done riding on board with him. What's he going to do? He's going to go high. Going in
The crocodile!
deep with the outbreak. Oh, Edmonds holding on to the preferred line. The switch back is going to give it to Vega, and then back to Edmonds, who is going to hold on to that 3rd spot for the time being.
See, the move here is you put him in the wall, and then you take a small time penalty, but you make up for that by just going so fast that it doesn't matter, and you still end up in 3rd place.
So here we go. We see Stoffmill here in the foreground. He's going to be taking the white flag, so this gives Zatoni 1 lap to see what he can do with Lazarenko here. Back up to the battle for 3rd. Whoa, Vega. Big
Viva
slide.
Las Vegas!
Big slide. He regathers, though. Doesn't lose too much time. And with that gap, he will be able to close it in. We've got another battle between Buchanan and King here. And King been sitting silently hovering right around that 10th to 12th place that he's at now.
Slowly climbing back
Buchanan,
up.
though, has been up and down the field repeatedly. And unfortunately, that 2nd drive-through that he had to serve has damned him to looks like 11th spot, possibly 12th, depending on what King can do with him. But we're looking at the battle. Woo! Edmonds running wide. Vega. Oh, don't push him. Go around him. Don't speed him back up. Vega clears him. A lot of bumping and sliding across each other there. So now these guys taking the white flag. And 1 lap for Edmonds to put the pressure on Vega for a change. Staying very close up into the braking zone. Edmonds jumping low, getting the preferred line. Woo! Vega slamming the door.
You got cut off.
I don't think so. Gonna give him a little bit of separation here for the rest of the lap. Not much though. Can't make a mistake. He's got to stay in focus here. Not going defensive yet. He knows Edmonds isn't quite close enough to get the nose under him. See who can get the better run out of the hairpin. Does appear to be Vega. Opening the gap up. Stoffmill has crossed the line. We can see that with the checkered flag at the top. And
You've crossed the line this time.
there's the battle between Lazarenko and Zatoni. Lazarenko does hold him off to hold on to 7th position. See, somewhere back there would be Travis Wallace coming across. But now, the battle for 3rd, the final podium spot. Vega taking the pass on the last corner, coming to the white flag. He's taking moves out of my book now. I don't know if I like this.
I'm alright with it. He's basically eBay sniping.
That's pretty much what he did. And now we see Edmonds just still falling back. I don't think he's going to be able to do it here in the last couple corners. He does break deep. Holds it right there on the rumble strips on the outside, but no, not going to be able to get it done. Vega with a good run coming out of the last corner, and that is going to give him the final podium position in 3rd, which means Martin Edmonds settling for 4th. Zaragarunian, I believe, is still running, and Machuca, I don't think, went a lap down either, but they're far enough apart. I think it's safe to say that this is your final running order as everyone else has crossed the
Mhm.
line. So the quick rundown, Mike Stoffmill, dominating. I mean, really, I don't know if there's another word for it. Sitting on pole, taking the win. Only reason he didn't lead every lap was the pit stops.
That is probably true. Also, fastest lap. I mean, don't
By
feel bad about yourself
a big
because
margin.
I've seen him have leads twice that long.
Yeah, yeah. So the rundown. We have got Mike Stoffmill, followed by Travis Wallace, Carol Vega, Martin Edmonds, Zariah Garunian, your top five. P6, Machuca. 7th, Lazarenko. 8th, Zatoni. Butler 9th. And 10th, Josiah Jerome. So we see that battle. The way that it played out also was Butler was able to hold off Josiah for, I mean, the whole race.
Yeah.
After the pits, looks like Jerome, I don't know, we can't see the gaps there because they were a lap down, but I would imagine they were fairly close because they were fairly close going into the pits. Anyway, outside of the top 10, Mukinen, P11, the newcomer King in P12. 13th, Loeffler. 14th, Barker. 15th and 16th, we know that John Pacheco went out fairly early. Shows the DNF, so he will place above Perez Torres, who ended up getting the DQ for speeding on pit
Womp womp.
road and not serving the drive-through. Tisk
You got stuck
tisk,
with the big
sir.
Dairy Queen.
All right, so that was round 7 from Imola. So we're looking forward to the next one, but we got a month to prepare, so you guys get ready. I expect a bigger crowd than this.
Or I'll find you.